Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We review anything and everything. Today we're getting into another Jurassic World review. This is from the Jurassic World Chaos Theory line. Um, we're going to take a look at the box really quick before we jump into the dinosaur itself. This is Ceratosaurus, the Wild Roar edition from the Epic Evolution line. And you can see here on the back of the box. Now, there was an older Ceratosaurus that was done, and it had more of the color similar to Jurassic Park 3, the version that was in that movie. And though I think it was okay. I think this has some improvements. Not that I've seen that one firsthand, but I looked at some reviews, and I do like some of it. Might be almost the same for the most part, maybe just different color. I don't know because I never had that one in hand, but it definitely looks like the proportions on it look pretty nice. Other than one thing I would say is that I think the skull is a little big on it, but other than that, overall, I think it's a pretty nice dinosaur. And continuing off of what I had mentioned in a previous video with the Majungasaurus about how the body shaping now is becoming a little bit more realistic and not just standing straight across, but having almost that V shape where the weight of the body dips down. Now, this one's not as pronounced as some of the other figures like the Majungasaurus or even, say, the Carnotaurus, but the Hammer Collection version, which obviously has a Hammer Collection. But the Majungasaurus is not, and it has a very deep dynamic pose. This one's not as much so, but it's still in that realm. The arms look kind of big also for this dinosaur. It has the roaring action with the wheel. So that's nice. You do have the more realistic teeth, but on this figure, I would say that the teeth are a little big. Just overall, the head is not scaled very well, I don't think, on this figure. It definitely could have been a bit smaller because it definitely looks oversized. And at first, I thought that this figure looked kind of short in length with its tail. But the truth is that that's not really the case. It's just that the head is so big that it throws the body's dynamic off a little bit. It actually has a very long tail for the size of the body. It looks very good in proportion. You just need a smaller tail, maybe about half that size. A smaller head, about half that size. And then the proportions on this figure would look a lot better. Got the QR scan on here. I apologize if in any of my other videos I didn't put in QR scans by accident or forgetting. I'm not super big on that by default. I reviewed the Majungasaurus before. I want to throw that in there because I forgot to throw that in. And let's just jump straight into the measurements. I'm not, like I said already off the back, I'm not as big of a fan of this figure as I am the Majungasaurus and a few of the other ones like the Equixinatosaurus. And I know I'm butchering that name, I'm sorry. Of the mainline ones, I'm not going to include the Hammer Collection ones, but the mainline ones, those two right now are probably some of my favorite in terms of detail. This one's not exactly up there, but I still think that it is a decent figure. And for the price, it costs $19 currently right now on Amazon at the time of recording of this video. Link's going to be in the description below. Now, I'm very familiar with Ceratosaurus because growing up, I used to have dinosaur cards that depicted him, and I was just a fan, especially of getting into smaller meat eating theropods. Theropods is the term I'm pretty sure I'm having a brain for right now, but um, having smaller meat eating dinosaurs because before it was always just the T Rexes and this and that, and even the Allosaurus and whatnot. So I really was a fan of this one being a smaller dinosaur. And he's roughly, you would consider him on the smaller end. I wouldn't even consider him medium. I consider him small. But the thing about it is, like I said, as far as this sculpt goes, he's okay, but I'm not completely as big a fan as the other ones go. But I am a fan of the dinosaur itself. Now, the dinosaur normally would go at 20 feet long and weigh about 1 ton and would be about maybe almost 10 feet tall, about somewhere in that range, maybe give or take. You could say somewhere between 8 to 10 feet, but roughly about 10 feet tall. So this should be somewhere within almost that range, even if it's about a foot or 2 feet shorter in our scale. And this is Owen right here, just to give you a sense of scale. He is considered, I consider him 6 feet. Anyone who's 3 and 3/4 inches, I just go off the basis to say that they are 6 feet for the purpose of scaling purposes. Now, so let's get into the numbers and the measurements. Straighten him out. And Ceratosaurus is looking to be 12 and a half. And without even having to do anything, I already know that that equates to 20 feet in terms of scale, because the Majungasaurus was the exact same length. As far as the height goes, he is 5 inches, which once again is the exact same height as the Majungasaurus, which puts him at 8 feet. So he's 8 feet, and he 8 feet tall and 20 feet long. And what's interesting is Majungasaurus is, when I looked him up, it said he weighed about a ton and a quarter, or 1.2 tons. So they're very much almost the same in scale. I'm actually going to bring Jungosaurus back in to the frame just for the purpose of showing you, even though I understand that this angle here is a little bit of a semi top down, so you may not be able, you can't really see the height as much, but they are actually roughly the same height. The overall back of Majungasaurus is a little bit taller, though the very point of Ceratosaurus is about the same height, just not, all of it, because he's not as chunky. And it's interesting because it does depict that chunkiness in Majungasaurus, though his tail is not as thick. So he just has better proportions overall, more dynamic proportions overall. But with that being said, that is the measurements of the figure. So scale wise, he's actually a good scale. Like I said, my only issue is just that head is way too big. Even comparing him right here to Owen, that head is just, it's just really big. It should be smaller for such a smaller dinosaur. But other than that, you guys, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.